Looking for the hot topics, juicy things. From the ones you know that be on the scene. Pull out your phones at D and the D. Don't look too far when you're in the city. We pulling up with that real little G. Grab a seat, it's time for T and the D. Yeah, grab a seat, it's time for T and the D.
What up, though, Detroit and online? It's your girl, Christina, a.k.a. Ina Lis, and you are tuned in to T and the D. And, of course, I would normally have my co-host, Cardi, with me, but instead, we got Cardi on the screen because he is in San Diego. We can hear you, Cardi. You gonna say something? Oh, it's a little frozen. It's okay, but guess who else we got? We got our homie in the building, the Big Trav Show.
What's going on, Christina?
Oh, man, I am so blessed I can't complain. But I will say, let's give a huge shout out and a thank you to follow him on Instagram at Mr. Christian for sponsoring us at The Shadow Gallery.
That's right, that's right.
As well as if you look over here, if you're here in person, you can see some of Teak Boo's really fly gear. So make sure y'all come out next Friday because they will have some very dope specials at TIQUE_BOU.
Sounds good.
Let's get right into it because I know a few of y'all have just been waiting for this next recap. But before we dive in, I'm going to introduce one and he going to introduce the other. I'd like to introduce from our cast, recently a new bachelor, Mr. Devon. Can we get a round of applause? Welcome, Devon. Welcome, Devon. Okay, and who else we got?
And up next was on the show for a brief period of time, but we always welcome him, my man Xavier.
Xavier just said he gonna stay with us. He's gonna pop out. So, but you gotta come out. You gotta at least show your face. They miss your face.
What up, though?
Oh, no, right here in this one, he said, "All right, we'll get." Y'all know how Xavier is.
No doubt, no doubt.
Marker he didn't. All right, Big Trav, let's get right into it.
That's right. Let's get right into it. Listen, you guys, if you missed it last night we went live last night. Cardi, Christina, and myself, and our super fan, how you pronounce her name?
Angelique in the building.
Angelique Coleman. She's in the building tonight. And we covered a variety of topics, but mainly we recapped episode 8 and episode 9 in preparation for tonight, episode 10, where we open with someone going home that we didn't expect. You want to chime in on it?
Surprising.
Yeah, it really was. It really was.
I mean, because everybody know. I mean, what did you say yesterday? You said what?
I told Cardi, I said, I give him 2 more shows, and he was gone.
Man, listen, I wasn't expecting Cardi to be gone that soon, only because Cardi's so cool,
right.
If you know Cardi, you got to know him, and getting to know him, you get to see there is so much depth if you really diving in with the right questions.
Definitely, he one of them guys he one of them people that you want to win, man. You was like, man, I want that guy to win, man.
Absolutely.
So that's definitely that guy. So you know what? Let's start there. I'm gonna ask both of you guys to chime in on it.
Yeah, and Cardi can hear you too. Cardi, let's test your mic. Say something. Oh, you're muted. You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
There it is.
Sorry, a few technical difficulties, but what's up? Everybody good?
Yeah, wonderful.
Ask him, what did he? How did he feel about going home? Because
can you hear him?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you. I just wanted to ask you, how did you feel about the results from today?
I thought it was a good episode, but it's always bittersweet, knowing the verdict of things. The second part of the getaway, there's a lot of things that unfolded, but it was really emotional first off for Shannon of going, and then kind of, hightailing off of that, ending off of the episode, my elimination came up. So, I feel that it was bittersweet, but this journey is something that can teach you about being ready to love.
Okay. Well, I tell you what, man, I don't know if you heard or not, but we was discussing that you're one of these people that we want to win, man. So we was rooting for you the whole time, and we was rooting for you to make it to the end. And but it was dope having you on the show. It was dope, man. It was dope going through the experience with you, and we know you will rebound and have something else for us to check out.
Oh, for sure. Just to chime in, I feel that I definitely did win with my journey, and just because I feel that it ends right before, I guess, the end of the season, I still feel that I learned a lot. I made a lot of great connections, and one of the biggest things though as well is like realizing that it's some things can always be out of your hands, but it's all about what you do with that perspective, So I do appreciate the love, the support, and it's good to see how everything else is going to end in this next couple episodes and what the reunion has up.
That reunion.
So I just got one more question. So what's next for you? What's next for you in your new start, your new fame stardom?
Well, of course we got T and the D, which is as you guys know is going on and popping. But the next thing, especially in relation to love, is I have a card game called Handed Love that I'm bringing to market. And this card game is going to change the way that game nights are played. Oftentimes when you go to a game night, it's like, well, what happened? And, people don't record it. They, just have a good time. But with this game, it's going to change the way that we play together, how we learn, and how we love. So it should be to market, getting everything produced now, but shooting for like Valentine's weekend, if not like, early March. So you just have to stay tuned. And I look forward to playing with everybody. It's going to be amazing.
And I played firsthand. I'm going to tell y'all right now, y'all are in for a treat because this is a game that's such a familiar but surprising type of game. And it was like, oh my God, this was so fun. What are we doing it again?
I'll tell you what, Cardi, we're going to pause you right quick. I want Ina and Devon to chime in on you being deemed not ready to love. So let's start with you, Christina. Kind of reflect on the experience that Cardi had on the show and your thoughts.
So I honestly felt like Cardi was only given a portion of his persona. He wasn't given the opportunity to really express his full self on the show because there's so many edited scenes. There's so many things that add to the narrative of the connections that were already there that it didn't allow Cardi to show like, man, Cardi dope as heaven. We don't say hell because hell ain't dope, y'all. So for me, I just feel like when you have that type of understanding about who a person really is and then see them on a screen to where you're only getting 20% of who he is because either you're already locked in with someone else or you really not trying to hear nothing he's saying or you just didn't get him, and I feel like you find your tribe when the people don't get you. Don't worry about it. It wasn't for you. Don't take it. So for me, seeing him eliminated, I mean, who was you going to be with? Who was you going to be with on there? You know what I'm saying? Who was left? So, I mean, at some point in time, things run their course. You know what I'm saying? So for me, Lauren wasn't your option. Ashanti wasn't, because Ashanti, I think that even though it started out as option, Ashanti faded. Because she just didn't feel like she found what she was looking for. And then it went to Dominique, was a top connection. Now Dominique locked in when she took his bag and put it in her room at the cabin. It was like, my man, my man, my man. And anybody else who having a conversation with my man or me might be wasting their time. Because this is my man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think everybody understood that very clear. Dominique and Bellow, that's the item. It seemed as if Darius and Ashley was an item. And then you got floaters like Vince and no longer Steve. Like, what was that?
Wow, I can't wait to get to that.
That was insane. So, for Cardi, it was time for you to go. Okay. You'll make one there.
Now, Devon, what are your thoughts as you reflect on your journey with Cardi?
My journey with Cardi, I don't got a whole lot to say, but right, pause. The only thing I would say is echo what Cardi's sentiments were, which are, you don't really lose if you learn something through the journey. You know what I'm saying? Like, if he learned from the experience and having relationships with these women and took something away from it, then I think you're a winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not that I'm biased at all for any reason. But, you know.
I do got one more, Cardi. I got one more question for you, and I know everybody want me to ask this. Would you do anything different?
I wouldn't do anything different. Reason being is that I can only really go off of my experience. And the thing is to where I guess if I could choose my edit and how I was edited, I may revise that, but I felt that I really gave I gave a full effort to this journey. No matter if the camera was on or if the camera was off, I had great conversations. I got to learn people intimately. I got to relate to people, not only if they're on their ups or their downs, and I'm very thankful for that because for everybody to show up to be their full authentic self, that's something that I think it's something that if I was to change something, I would almost be like neglecting those opportunities that I had of learning, for people, But I do feel that I showed up as my authentic self. I felt that I was pretty real. The edits may not, reflect that, but I think at the end of the day, it's especially I think now with having T and the D and by doing, let's say, these outtakes of talking that people can really see to be like, hey, that Cardi, you're funny or you're expressive. You're not necessarily just the same type of person. So I guess I have a question for y'all though. What did y'all feel overall as for the episode? Was there any other shockers? Were there any things that I think may have taken you guys by surprise?
Well, I tell you what, we're gonna pause you on that because I took notes, and that's part of the show. We're gonna get into all. We're gonna get into all of that, okay?
But we about to bring, we're going to bring a special super fan up real quick. We're going to let her answer some questions about how she felt about you and Steve leaving. But let's just talk about.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, let's just talk about.
You remember her from
Cardi
last night?
Hey, Cardi.
I do. Hey.
There you go.
Good to see you. Hey, I like that. I like that outfit.
She looks super cute, right?
Had to do a little something. But yes, so the elimination, was you shocked? Because we kind of told you that already. We said that last night. Trav gave you two.
But leading into the getaway, of course, my connection, of course, when Ashante was starting to wean, like there was some stuff off camera that where we kind of talked out and then built up things, but with the strength of Bellow and Dominique's pretty much relationship, it really, did not leave a lot of room for any additional connection. So, if you think about it, it would really just be something that would happen. I mean, I kind of felt that way, but, sometimes you have certain discussions that may not make it on camera, and based off of how the ladies felt as a whole, it's like, hey, Cardi, that's the end of the road.
Yeah, and as a super fan and tapping in with the group, we were shocked with the double elimination.
Yes.
I'm like,
yeah, that's crazy.
Yes, I was very shocked.
Nobody was expecting the double elimination.
Were y'all shocked to see a double elimination?
Yes, we were.
Absolutely.
But we're going to get into that. That's all a part of the show. We're going to get into all of that.
Well, let me suggest this.
Okay.
Angelique, why don't you sit on the other side of him so we can keep you here? Because
Okay.
I think that'd be the best because, at the point where she's speaking from the Facebook group and y'all be in there on y'all own little wave, and I promise y'all, let me tell you, I see none of it, so I could care less. But I do know it's a lot of y'all up in there. Shoot, y'all be ganging up on folks.
Well, you know what? Well, on that note, I'll tell you, let's take it there. Let's ask the super fan what she think the group is going to think about the double elimination.
Everybody is shocked. They can't. They are shocked by it. They definitely think that Steven was ready to love. He shouldn't have been let go. And they're all crying about poor Shannon. They like the affection that Steven showed Shannon after she got eliminated, so that's a good thing. So we just waiting to see. Obviously, we like Ashanti is next because who she connecting with? Who she got? You gone.
That would be
so who she
interesting.
connecting with?
I don't think there's going to be any more eliminations, though.
Oh.
I think eliminations are over. That was the last lounge.
Oh yeah, that's
They said
true.
that.
Is everybody doubled up? Everybody doubled up right now?
Well, you still
But
got.
then you still got to watch and see. I don't know how it
You
plays
still
out.
got
but-
Lauren and Ashanti, so they both still.
Like, where
Vince is. Vince would, if we do it right, Vince with Donna, Dominique with Bellow.
If we do it right, what does that mean?
I mean, if we going by what we see on TV, if we doing the math, thank you, Trav. If we doing the math, based on the connections that we've seen, you know, that we got that. Oh, you got Darius and Ashley, so yeah.
I don't think nothing's happening with that.
Now, I have a question for y'all. I have a question. Now, seeing that, I know you said that you guys were shocked that Steven as well got eliminated, and going from 4 connections to eliminations, has that ever happened in Ready to Love history? To where somebody has been, you know, had so many connections and all of a sudden just doesn't?
I think in this situation, it was a shocker, but yeah, I think it's happened before. I can't recall off top, but yeah, it's definitely happened before.
And she would know because, you know, she's been a super fan watching since day one. Season 1. We on season 11. Oprah Network been doing some things, baby. They've been putting in some work, okay?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to go ahead and get into the kind of the show that I put together. We've already covered some of the things I have on my list. We're going to start with when the show opened, Bellow said that Lauren had a confusing energy. Can anybody explain to me what that meant?
Well, let me just say this. I think it is confusing. I think the conversations that she's having with these men as if to say, let me have this final conversation with you to see if you're interested in me. It's like, why? You see, very clearly. That's her man. My man. She put his bag in her room to sleep together, and he never moved it. And when somebody checked her about the room, he looked out the window as if to say, you heard what she said. And again, I'm so serious. And the reality is, at the point where these scenarios keep happening to her, I think she already in her mind was like, well, I think my time is coming.
Anjali, let me ask you this. Do you think Bellow was stringing Lauren along or he was, gassing her up?
He was definitely stringing her along. It's part of the game, trying to keep your connection so you can stay there. So I definitely think that he was stringing her along because, there's nothing there. It was flat. He had more of a connection with Ashanti than he did. Lauren was just gasping at straws at this point. So,
okay. You want to weigh in, Devon?
It's Ashanti, but I hear you. Yep. I think that. I feel like the show gives a certain impression of the time scale that we're talking about. That isn't necessarily. I don't necessarily know that Bellow was stringing her along, but I do feel like he had pretty much made up his mind of which way he was going to go, but anything could happen. You know what I mean? Like, what if he finds out something? What if she zigs when she should have zagged? You know what I mean?
So he was playing the game then, right?
I'm not saying, I don't know how much interest he actually had in Lauren. I'm going to go ahead and assume that he did have interest and that he was give him the benefit of the doubt. I know what it looks like. But I think that he obviously, at the end of the day, he just didn't have the same connection that he had with Dominique. The connection with Dom was way, way stronger. But, maybe he was holding out hope that their connection would grow. And
okay.
Well, let me just add one thing to this, because when he said that, let me just say this. For me, I just felt like for her to say that Bella was one of her strongest connections, I laughed a bit inside. Just chuckled. Just a bit. Because it means that your perspectives might just be a bit off. You're reading the room just a bit differently. You know what I'm saying? Because even if we just took our perceptions on the outside looking in, no one agreed with that perspective. No. And I say that,
yes. Yeah. I want to tag in because even in her thing, Vince was her biggest.
Vince and
Steven was her biggest. Her friend said that she should be with Vince. She wanted to be with Steven. She didn't say Bellow.
There was never a Bellow until elimination came.
Or Steven. So where did Bellow come in?
Until the ladies it was time for the ladies to get eliminated.
I want to chime in though too, if possible, because I definitely agree with what you ladies are saying and what everyone is saying. But something that I would say that goes to the fact of confusing energy is that even though Lauren may have pursued Bellow, pursued Vince, and entertained, let's say, Steven, she never really kind of came out to be like, you're my number one to any of these individuals. You know, it was always kind of, something that could be ambiguous or, kind of assuming things by having certain conversations, especially with Bellow. I think that the connections and stuff were genuine, but really it goes to show that what Bellow said when it came to attraction and then chemistry, it just was too strong with having Dominique around. And almost in the same type of way of how people could assume that Bellow may have had an effect on Divine, which wasn't necessarily true. His effect with Dominique played a major role to how Lauren perceived him. And it was almost challenged to where she wanted to get that reassurance, like, well, I feel like a side chick, like, is there room for the connection? But you're saying this, but at the end of the day, you're seeing that actual attraction. Right. And you're seeing it firsthand, you're seeing the attention being diverted. And that's where I think that things can kind of be confusing because you may say certain things, but your actions are a little bit different. So that's where the confusion and stuff is. But had she said, hey, you know what, Bellow, you're my number one, or Steven, you're my number one, or Vince, you're my number one, it would be less confusing. It would leave a lot less to kind of question, but she kind of let things kind of go and fall as to how it was, even when she knew what it was. That's just my perception of watching it.
Let me say something. I feel like when it comes to like gamesmanship, I think one of the issues that I have with like the pacing is that the show really benefits people who claim each other early. Like, is it sincere or not? I don't know. But here's what I can say for sure. Like, there's a big benefit to like attaching early and then, pushing off all of the extraneous folks, figuratively speaking. And I think that that in reality, we are all still very much getting to know each other, even at the end of the show. Like, people don't really know each other that well, so leaving options open, I think, is just the only thing to do. Like, I feel like for most people, 6 weeks just isn't enough time to really commit to somebody. So while I respect opinions of folks who are like, you didn't commit, I'm like,
I didn't commit. So
what are the chances? 10 random men, 10 random women. You gonna find your Mr. Right and commit in 6 weeks? I mean, come on. Like, what is?
Well, you know what? Well, I'm glad you went there because before the show, I told him I had a lot of questions for him in episode 8. So I'm gonna get one off right now. Do you think you played the game right? Would you do?
I wasn't playing the game, so I guess
would
no.
you do anything differently? Would you do anything differently?
Not really.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I mean, no. Yes, I would do.
Okay.
I don't think I would have. Hindsight being 2020, I don't think I would have told anybody they were my number one at any point, because I feel like I just said, the reality is we were all getting to know each other still, so I didn't know enough to have a number one.
Okay.
In my opinion, if I was just going off of like aesthetics or just being immature in the way that I look at love and relationships, I could stand by that, but I can't call anybody my number one in a process like this. I don't think anybody can. Not really.
Okay.
Not for real.
Okay, we're gonna move on because we just recapped his show last night, and we could do an hour on Devon for real. But we're gonna move on.
Yeah.
I tell you what, we're gonna the beginning of this episode. Shannon was let go. She wasn't ready to love.
we should wait on Shannon because I just text Shannon. I think she may be joining us.
She
So
may be
whatever
joining us?
question,
Okay.
she may want to wait.
All right, well, let's
but
move on.
before that happens, let me just go ahead and thank our sponsors one more time. Teakboo at TIQUE_BOU, and of course the beautiful Shadow Gallery. You can find them at the Shadow Gallery DET. And just so y'all know, make sure y'all stay tuned because we got only one Jackson in the building. Can we give him a round of applause? And he's going to give us an amazing performance. Not only is he going to give us a performance, we got a performance coming from Devon as well for our karaoke night.
Okay, karaoke.
Okay,
Oh,
it ain't
yeah,
gonna
I
be
was
the same
like,
thing.
I was like, damn,
Only one
Devon
Jackson's
rap?
gonna give us a real performance. Devon is
Devon
gonna be on the
got
karaoke
bars?
mic, okay? But yeah, so I just want to let y'all know, stay tuned. Go ahead.
All right, all right. The next thing we're going to cover, since we're going to move on from that, let's start with. Do you guys think that Lauren changed in this process? I thought she did, but I want you guys to address. I seen a change in her. The Lauren we seen in episode 1 isn't the one that we're seeing now. Who wants to chime
I
in
would
on
love
this?
to just identify, because I think Cardi have said this before. I think a lot of the people in this journey have said people have shown up with their representative. You know what I'm saying? I think the representative left because at this point, at the point where you're so confident, like me, I felt like I was very confident. At the point where we wasn't compatible, baby, I'm all set. And then I found who I was compatible with, because you don't need a million men, you only need one. So I found the one who I thought, but of course, I won't say the game, but the journey, it requires you to find multiple connections in order to stay on the journey. But stop playing with me. And stop playing with me at the point where you thought you could play with me, you're already done. You know what I'm saying? At the point where it was a hint of Dom in the relationship that Bellow and I had, it was like, oh, it's time to go. It's time to go. And I think everyone can identify. There wasn't it wasn't that soft talk. You know, when you talk to a man, it's like, hey. You know what I'm saying? But if it's a man that's like, you already showed me, my man's like, what up, though? All right, well, homie, let me go ahead and let you know what happened. So when I leave, you won't feel left on the edge. You know what I'm saying? So that's with Chris, and again with Bellow, we was letting them go. You know, so at the end of the day, I don't think that she really understood who her connection was versus trying to stay on the show.
Well, I want to talk about a comment she made on her podcast, which was,
oh, you watched that?
Yeah, which was she was used to guys tripping over her. You know, she wasn't used to approaching guys. She was used to something to that effect. So let me ask you, Anjali, do you think she was overconfident? You think she was, arrogant or overconfident going in?
No, she wasn't overconfident at all going in.
Yeah,
I think she was just used to a certain standard when how men approach her and deal with her, and she didn't get that here. And I think she also said in her podcast the men that she wasn't her type wasn't there either. So really at this point, like Ina pointed out, once you seen the men that you was connected with were connected elsewhere, I would have self-eliminated. I'd have been gone, because the people that I was actually into aren't clocking for me in the way that I'm used to. So she should have really self-eliminated, but in order to have the camera time, in order to stay and remain, she's doing what she's playing. At this point, she's playing the game, because she has no connection. Her connections are with other people. So she should have self-eliminated.
Let me just say this one thing, because you said.
Well,
go ahead.
One thing I want to chime in if possible. Now, would you guys agree or not agree that you started to learn a lot more about Shannon by the getaway than you previously knew?
Oh, yeah.
Where you
Right.
started to see more of her actual personality.
Yes,
You started to see more of her attention. And of course, T and the D kind of helps to really narrow that in. But the only risk of self-elimination is that you really would be giving up on your pursuit of quote unquote love. And I guess that's the only grievance of things. Now, things do become a lot more apparent as you get closer to being eliminated. But I feel that if she was to stop that, then everybody, the audience may not have seen, Shannon for who she was. Now, that I guess that's just my only 2 cents.
Okay.
I just want to say this. When, like Anjali said, like Lauren identified that these men, she was used to certain things, and Lauren is beautiful. So at the point where that is the case, like, pretty girls got we got different standards, not in the same way. Like, anybody who thinks that they are beautiful are going to expect pretty treatment type of thing. And that's not anything other than respect. You should respect me. You should understand I got values. I think that he said, yeah, Ashanti, but she got me.
So I definitely think that Dom and Bellow.
I don't. I think Dom is just a very flirty person, and so I think that her interactions pretty much always. I mean, like she flirts. You know what I'm saying? And she's good
You
at
would
it.
know better than we.
And you,
Well, no, I'm just saying in general. You can tell from all of her dates with Cardi, me, Bellow, whoever she's talking to. She's got that juice.
She's got that juice.
And I think that can come off as feeling stronger for some. Not to say that she wasn't feeling strongly about Bellow, but I'm saying to see that and be like, ooh, the sexual chemistry. I'm like, I mean. She was attracted.
She pushed you away.
She was attracted.
And she
Yes,
that man
she's
down.
attracted to him.
She's
but I
slobbed that man
but I
down
don't
is
know
crazy.
that. But what I'm saying is that Darius and Ashley are different people. So I don't know that you can see them and say that Ashley wasn't flirting like Dominique was. So the sexual attraction wasn't there. I feel like you're getting a portion, and this is why I'm struggling because I know these people. You know what I'm saying? You're getting a portion from what you saw on TV.
Right.
But that is not always reality.
Yes.
now, I got a follow-up question, but I'm going to move us along, man, because you raised another question. And if we got time, I'll come back to it. But, okay, my next thing is...
Just chime in.
Go ahead.
Can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is that if you look at both of the relationships, I think the dynamic, when you look at Dom and Bellows, there was a lot of things that were in person. And what I mean by it is that you would see their relationship not only be challenged in person, but you would see intimacy, you would see conflict, you would see all of these things to where it was really kind of harmonious. Now, when it came to Ashley and it came to Darius, there's always seems to be a running theme that Ashley is kind of wondering where is Darius showing like his representative. Now, even though that both Bellow and then Darius, I think, show up in a way, it still was not kind of the same. And it kind of preludes into the next episode to where it's just like, is it enough for Ashley? But I feel that both of them, when looking at them together, have a very strong connection. Enough to where even, Trav, like you were saying, a couple episodes ago, like, it's just a done deal, from what you're saying. But when you think about the conversations that are being had, the things that are being said, you can definitely see the differences in the relationships.
Okay.
Okay,
got it.
And it just seemed like from looking at Bellow and then Dom's relationship of how it plays out, at least with these episodes, to where there's a lot of mature conversations. But you could also see that it was interesting of like Bellow having discussions with Ashanti because, they could connect mentally, but it still didn't seem like it could be a threat to Dominique and Bellow's relationship.
I'm going to add one more thing. Because I agree with everything Cardi said. I feel like that's more of the reason why I feel the way that I did. But it also, I will say this, I always felt like when Ashley would talk about Darius, it kind of felt like she was working down a checklist of things in a way that when Dom talked about Bellow and vice versa, it felt more emotional, more raw, more real. You know what I mean?
Right.
So there's that.
Okay. And I do. Oh, but I got so many more questions about that, but we're going to come back to it. Let's move on to this. Was Lauren calling her friends on the phone with Vince? Was that overkill on the height situation? Was that overkill?
Let me just say
I thought it was.
I think that at the point where you tell this man, every time you do wrong, you give me this half-ass apology, I'm going to take you back. And I'm going to enjoy it. And I'm going to act like you didn't call me a tall B. I'm going to act like you didn't receive my friends well. Because the reality was, stop acting like you ain't see what just happened, girl.
Exactly.
Well, number one, he wasn't compatible with your friends. Let him go. Because at the point where you about to force him to apologize, he said, I see that it will make you happy. Let me go ahead and do it. It wasn't even genuine. It was like you coerced him. And at least that's how he sounded, he felt. And he did it because he wanted to, even if it's to make you happy, what's the game he's playing? Because if he's doing it to make you happy in a way that he didn't see that it would have made you happy already, and you had talked to him twice.
Vince did offer first. And he just wasn't expecting the phone call and right then. I think that caught him off guard. Like
Vince offered to apologize to friends.
Yeah, he said that first.
Right,
He offered.
Okay.
And then she was like, okay, let's call her right now. He was like, right now? Like,
Okay, so she just put him on the spot.
Yeah.
Okay, I probably missed that part.
I got to follow up on that. You think she should have shot it down, Christine?
Let me say something.
This is my thing. Why does it always seem that Lauren is always challenging individuals to do something?
Yeah,
Did anybody else kind of pick that up? And it's just like, well, you're up for elimination now, and either you can play it safe or you can go home, like Bellow told me. But here's the challenge. And the thing is to say, if Vince would have said no, would that have changed their dynamic? But it's like, there's always seems to be a challenge with Lauren to say, well, how about you do something to prove that you know, that you're vetting for me? To prove that, you know, maybe you have a connection with Dominique, but prove it to me that I'm a connection. And you shouldn't always do that. You know, you should not necessarily involve your friends in things to where if y'all have talked about it, if we know, you know, hey, we had it back and forth, we talked about it, we got past this, but it almost just seems like either he kind of like caves to what she wants to do, or she turns against him. And that kind of, I think, shows the strength of a relationship, because none of the other connections had challenges in that way of like, well, let me go ahead and let me do this to prove that you like me.
And again, I don't know if y'all remember from before, but I'm Team Vince. That's my boy. And he did the same thing in the cabin. You know, he conceded when they were having a discussion again, the height gate, and having a discussion again in order to make Lauren happy. He said, okay, I did it. And to bring the situation to a halt. So again, we see again at dinner, he's conceding again to have, so yeah, she's gonna have to, again, I don't remember who said it, but this is the first time that you're able to look back on your actions and see the things that you're doing, and maybe to be able to, a wake-up call to see where you need to self-improve in order to do better in your dating life and in relationships. And it doesn't necessarily have to be dating. So if you have that control in dating, it probably spills over in other parts of your life. So that's stuff that you have to check for yourself.
I said one thing that I appreciated when I let you guys know, like, hey, you know, just say your full emotions as to what you think, you know, and I appreciate that. But like I said, you know, we wanted to put a pin in that, and we want to come back now, as I believe y'all believe that Steven would have went, you know, the complete way. But this is the thing. It just really shows you that the experience of that getaway can really sway people's opinions to see if there's more than one connection, and if you are to do something wrong. So even though that Steven had, you know, a lot of connections, he may not have done enough to sway the women to say, well, he should stay, you know? And all it really takes maybe could be not giving enough succulents away. Or maybe it could have been, you know, not having certain conversations, you know? But for me personally, you know, I could pretty much see some writing on the wall based off of where my connections pretty much lay. But, you know, with Shannon going home, though, too, when you have less estrogen that's around, it changes everything up, you know? It really changes everything up. But it was a shocker for me of knowing that I went home and then Steven got eliminated too, because it's like, well, you know, what's next? What can happen next? Yeah, I'm saying, but has there been any elements that you have not seen? Like, if you notice, when it comes to Vince and then Lauren's relationship, it's much different than Vince and Donna's relationship. It seems to where, like, if you were to compare both of them, the energy is different. The responses is different. So I guess I'm saying is that, have you seen all levels to Vince and Donna's relationship? Because that truly can answer your actual question of, do they have what it takes? She's saying in a nutshell, could you pull Dom? That's what she's saying. Let's call a spade a spade. That's what she's eloquently asking. Could you pull her if you've seen her?
Obviously, I feel like I could pull down. And if you look at my exes, I feel like my track record speaks for itself. Like, I don't think so. No, so I know that that's the perception of it. I don't even think like that, honestly. Like, that's not a factor the way that I see it at all.
Translation. Vaughn said that he's Usain Bolt, so y'all know what time it is.
Well, listen, y'all, that was the last question. But before we end, I definitely wanted to give a shout out and let Shannon say hello because we have an exclusive with Shannon because Shannon also got eliminated next season. So we will definitely let Shannon say hello.
Hi everyone. I hope you enjoyed the show tonight.
Yeah,
It was a
I hope
very
you
good.
can hear me.
interesting.
I'm sorry I'm out to dinner, so I'm so sorry. Wires got
No,
crossed, but thank you for letting me come on and say hi, y'all. It's a little choppy, but I think you said, what should I be letting other people know about me? Is that correct?
correct. Correct,
Um,
yes.
Me in a nutshell is a social justice and health equity warrior. I'm very steeped into my craft as a midwife now. That is what I love. That's what I was born to do. That's my purpose. I deeply care for people, all people, no matter who they are. I love hard. I love deep, and sometimes it may be quick or whatever, but I'm gonna always express myself and be real and say what I want to say, and I mean exactly what I say. So that's just me.
Very okay. Well, let's give a round of applause for Shannon with the shit. That's what she said. Well, listen, thank you all for tuning in to T and the D. Make sure y'all go follow, subscribe, and make sure y'all leave the comments because we are watching daily. Follow at TEA_in the capital D. And of course, we want to thank again the Shadow Gallery. You can find them at the Shadow Gallery DET, as well as Tifu, where you see, well, some of y'all can see it, but all their beautiful attire. You can find them at TIQUE_BOU, where they're styling if y'all need any style needs. And of course, you guys go check out my awesome co-host.
Most definitely. Yeah. Yeah. All social media platforms is I'm Cardi. So IMCARDE. And thank y'all so much for checking out T and the D and ready to love Detroit. So let's get it.
And don't forget to follow me at INA_LIS if you don't already. Thank you so much for tuning in. Oh, bye for now, y'all. But don't go nowhere because we got only one Jackson about to hit the stage.
Let's go.
Thank you so much. Stay tuned. We about to get it hot.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah.
From the love to the light to the lessons. When we speak, it's pure confessions. Cameras on now, sit with me. Whole world tuned in to T and the D. Looking for the hot topics, juicy things. From the ones you know that be on the scene. Pull out your phones at T and the D. Don't look too far away in the city. We fully done with that real little G. Grab a seat, it's time for T and the D. Yeah, grab a seat, it's time for T and the D.
What up, though, Detroit? Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm so happy that y'all are still in to TNT. We appreciate y'all tuning in and your support. I am now ready to introduce to y'all an amazing, today from Detroit, an amazing performer named Only One Jackson. Woo! Give a round of applause. Woo!
Hey, how y'all doing? I go by the name of Only One Jackson. Let's get it. Once again, I go by the name of Only One Jackson. Y'all can follow me on all platforms at Only One Jackson. Got a video on right now for my song journey that I'm going to perform for y'all today. You are now tuned in to Big Dog Trip Entertainment. We gon' slide through a late night. See you been taking your time, making you mine. I tried to run away from you, but you said fine. A different type of woman in that lost my mind. Oh, but on a journey for a journey, you acting extra spoiled, like you mean, but like you mean. But on a journey for a journey, but on a journey for you acting extra spoiled, like you mean, but on a journey for
y'all know me, y'all know that I be singing. So I'm just gonna throwing a few of my old songs and sing it with y'all. It ain't gonna be me like dancing and all of that. I'm gonna just go ahead and serenade y'all. You know how Cardi serenaded me in the car that day. But I hope y'all enjoy. I'm gonna play just like 2 or 3 that I really think, because Valentine's Day is coming along and coming around, and y'all should check out my Lover's Day album entitled You, because this is a lot of love songs. And we're gonna start with Be With You. Let us know. It can all be so easy if you're into me like I'm into you, baby. Taking it easy. I'm willing to work for the things that I need you to see. Keep giving that energy. I love how you do me. It's like you plus me. It's like 1, 2, 3 together. Please keep up. If you catch me, we up. I just need you to love me right, day and night. Hold me, take us when the time is right. I wanna be with you. I really wanna be with you. I wanna love you right, day and night. Hold me, take us when the time is right. I wanna be with you. I really wanna be with you. I only wanna sit with you, talk with you, tell me everything you wanna do. You know you're the truth, girl. I know all the places I'm a fan of you. You know you're the truth, you be adding to my own, you be spitting the load. Oh, be that's true. And relax your mind, I'll take care of you. 1, 2, 3, together. Please keep up. We are. I just need you to love me right, day and night. Hold me, take us when the time is right. I wanna be with you. I really wanna be with you. I only wanna love you right, day and night. Hold me, take us when the time is right. I wanna be with you. I really wanna be with you. Love you right, day and night. Hold me, take us when the time is right. I wanna be with you. I really wanna be with you. Love you right, day and night. Hold me, take us when the time is right. I wanna be with you. I really wanna be with you. Hey, that's all right now. That's all Be With You. This next one I love. I did this next one in Atlanta. It's a whole love vibe, y'all. I just love it. That's real. I just wanna be with you. All I need is you. I just wanna be with you. Just you. All I need is you. No bounds, I'm silent. Slide a little, let the button time. Baby, I'm on your own. I'm with it. You still night, the limit, let the button time. Baby, I'm on your own. I'm ready to take the lights off. Dance with you with the lights on. So keep my time so. All I need is you. Take control when I get. No one will fight it. No phones on silent. I just wanna be with you. All I need is you. I just wanna be with you.